what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back here with another cryptocurrency video. Today we're going to talk about how the market is pulling back after the recent run-up, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, is this bull run already over? So in the short term, it does look like we're going to fall back a little bit lower, but that's personally what I had predicted in my previous daily crypto update videos. I mentioned how as Bitcoin got close to $8,000, it was going to be very hard to get back above that level due to all the resistance it had ahead. And like I mentioned before, I still stand by my opinion. I think that we will manage to get back above $8,000, but it may take a few attempts before we actually get that breakout, which will lead to the general market also benefiting from that and getting a more sturdy uptrend, because there was just a lot of resistance ahead. And this run-up was very much of almost a euphoric run-up, right? It was a bit of a spike that was a bit unsustainable in the short term, especially considering that we had already fallen back quite a bit, and that's why we're now pulling back from that. So over the past 24 hours, a lot of cryptocurrencies down around 5%, and we're going back to kind of where we were before this little run-up, going back towards our support levels. I'll cover everything during our technical analysis. Once again, just to remind everyone, EOS is now added to every daily crypto update. So if you're interested in that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll get to the technical analysis in just a second, but I wanted to go over some news pieces. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates. Definitely check that out because I've been more active on there. And let's get into some news. So Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, mentioned that Bitcoin is the only digital gold. He really buys into that, and that's kind of the vision he has for it. Now, what's interesting here is we see a lot of these important figures kind of stand behind Bitcoin. Steve Wozniak being one of them, obviously. The CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, also said that he hopes Bitcoin will be the internet's digital currency of the future, basically, the go-to currency for the internet. And Bitcoin, obviously, the one with the biggest brand name, does get more attention in the mainstream just because it is the leader right now. It is the biggest cryptocurrency, and it's a controversial topic because there's obviously altcoins out there, and each cryptocurrency makes a certain case for itself. Bitcoin's strong suit is obviously the fact that its legacy and its immutability, decentralization, and the fact that I think it does make a pretty good case for itself for being a great store of value, so something like digital gold. But it's also undoubtable that there are other cryptocurrencies out there, Ethereum, Ripple, many others, that have their own strong suits. So I'm not going to get into the debate on that now, but it's good to see that institutions, important figures, and just more and more people are seeing the actual opportunity here of what cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others can become in the future. And I'd say we're heading in the right direction. I think that it's important to mention that, especially in times like this where the market isn't great, because you have to remember what's going on fundamentally here. And fundamentally, nothing has changed. If anything, the fundamentals are even stronger and more important. So that's kind of what I'm basing everything on. And let's get into the technical analysis now, starting off with EOS. We are pulling back towards our uptrend line. The path seems pretty clear here for me right now. I think that we're going to come back and test this uptrend line. Probably going to get a little bit of a bounce at around 16,880 satoshis. However, what we want to make sure is that we remain above this uptrend line. If we lose this uptrend line support, then we're probably going to see some consolidation at around 15 to 16,000 satoshis. But for that to happen, we would have to drop below our uptrend line. For now, we're still looking fine, but I think that we are going to test that, within the next 2-3 days. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin and see what's going on. So something that I should mention is you've probably, if you've been watching my previous daily crypto updates, I have been talking about how I was interested at buying at these levels, and right now I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for a bit more clarity on what's happening, because we've been going up and down a lot, and I'm just trying to make sure that we are stable to a certain point before investing right now. But I am still considering buying at these levels. And one of the reasons I actually thought about buying yesterday, but I noticed all the resistance that we had ahead, and I just didn't think that we were going to manage to get above those resistance in the short term, and that's exactly what happened, right? We're now falling back lower. So, as the price drops more, it obviously becomes more interesting to invest. For me personally, keep in mind, none of this is financial advice, just my personal opinion. If you're interested in learning more about, how I trade, you can definitely check out my premium content. Link to that in the description of this video for cryptocurrency buying opportunities. But right now, we have lost our little short-term uptrend line, which is fine because what's more important to pay attention to is the channel that we're in between these two longer-term pink uptrend lines. So we're moving in this channel right now. We could come back, all the way down to $7,000, maybe a little bit above that, bounce off this uptrend line, or just get a bounce off $7,360. Either way, as long as we remain in this channel, which is slightly uptrending, I think we're still fine. The support level that we really don't want to lose is this uptrend line right here, because then we would be much more likely to see $5,000 probably. So that's why we really want to make sure we stay above this uptrend line over here. And as long as that happens, we're still moving in the right direction no matter what. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is now pulling back below $600 after testing its middle band. This was the case for a lot of cryptocurrencies. They came up on their middle band and they pulled back from there, which is very common, especially after a drop like this. This was our first kind of attempt at a recovery here in a while, and those first attempts usually don't go through. So a lot of MACDs have had their first attempt of getting back above the orange line, and the first attempt usually doesn't hold very well. That's exactly what happened this time around. However, the second or even third attempt, if we get to that, have a much more likely chance of actually holding and really beginning a nicer uptrend. And that's what I think is going to happen, but we will see some consolidation, in between then. For now, I'd say Ethereum has a nice bounce opportunity around $550, or we could even fall lower down to $500. We definitely don't want to move below that, but our general range here is between $500 and $600. Ideally, want to stay above $550. Nice bounce opportunity there. Let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin. Litecoin is coming back on towards $115. A lot of support there. I think it's pretty likely that we see some consolidation in that area. And we don't want to start moving below $110. However, I do think we're going to see, pretty tight consolidation here for Litecoin for a bit longer. Let's go ahead and take a look at Nano. I actually forgot to cover it in yesterday's video. Not that much has changed. We did drop a little bit lower from that 55,000 Satoshi level. We're now moving back towards 50,000 Satoshis, which isn't the best thing. However, we want to make sure we stay above 50,000 Satoshis, and we really don't want to see the price starting to move below that, because at that point it becomes a little bit more worrisome that we might see, a further drop lower, which would be, we don't have much support in these levels. So we really need to stay above 50,000 Satoshis, and as long as we're above that, we're still okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple, see what's going on. So going over to the Binance chart here, Bittrex chart, we're going to take a look at what's happening with Ripple. So Ripple is coming back on its support levels here at around 65 cents. We got our uptrend line, we got our middle band, so multiple support layers here, which is good. However, we're in a little bit of a tight situation. It's going to be hard to stay above this uptrend line just because of what the rest of the market is doing, unless there's some bullish news. I think that a good scenario here for Ripple, a more bullish scenario, would be just remaining above 65 cents, or even trading around that 65-cent level would be good. If we do drop, I'd say we want to stay above 60 cents, and worst case scenario would be getting a bounce off our uptrend line. But I don't really see Ripple moving lower than 60 cents here over the next few weeks. I think that's about as low as we'll go, and we have a pretty good chance of staying at around 65 cents. Let's go ahead, take a look at NEO now, see what's happening. So NEO is falling back with some pretty big red candlesticks, back towards 50 cents likely, and I think we're going to consolidate in this area probably for a bit longer, and then probably a bounce off the uptrend line. As long as we stay above this pink uptrend line, we're still good. We still have, higher lows, which is always very important. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Stellar Lumens, see what's happening. And going over to the Binance chart here, we can see that Stellar Lumens is not able to get back above 4,000 Satoshis. This is what I expected. This is what I predicted. I think that we're probably going to continue to consolidate between 3,800 and 4,000 Satoshis, so pretty tight consolidation here. Probably going to remain, a little bit above our middle band, and right now all indicators are leading me to think that we're going to see some consolidation, a lot of flattening out, which is one of the primary signs of consolidation. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Vertcoin, see what's going on. So right now, Vertcoin, pretty sharp drop. We're coming right back down to $1.54, and this is not a good sign because we've already tested that level a couple times. It's our last support before, even more of a drop down to $1, even below that. And it's not looking too good. If within the next few days we drop below $1.54, I think the next stop will be that $1 mark. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next crypto, which is going to be Lisk now, and see what's going on. So Lisk is not looking too bad. We weren't able to get back above $10 just yet, which was pretty expected, I'd say. We're now coming back on our uptrend line. Looks like we're going to be able to hold for now. And, it's not the steepest uptrend line, which makes us a bit more likely to manage to remain above it and just slowly but surely climb back up towards $10. If we do move below, we do have a lot of support at $8, so I don't really expect Lisk to see any kind of large drop unless the rest of the market kind of tanks. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cardano now, see what's going on. So Cardano is coming back towards its middle band, and I'm going to go over to the Bittrex chart where I have all my previous lines drawn out. We have a little bit of a gap here. We do have support, at around 2,700, 2,800 Satoshis, which is good. I think that we have a pretty good chance of bouncing there. But our Bollinger Band range right now is between 2,500 and 3,000 Satoshis. So really anywhere in this range is where we could be trading in. And as long as you stay above 2,500 Satoshis, we're still okay in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a look at our last crypto of the daily crypto update, which is going to be IOTA. IOTA is falling back sharply towards its middle band after its very big and quick run up. Pretty expected considering that it really has to wait for the rest of the market to be ready to move higher, and that just wasn't the case, so we reached a bit of a peak in the short term. Now we're coming up on some support levels finally at around $1.70. Could start to see the drop slow down here, or we could fall a little bit lower, maybe down to $1.60. Either way, as long as we don't start moving back below $1.47, we're still okay. And actually, a pretty important trend line that I haven't drawn out yet is this new uptrend line right over here. So a couple things to mention with that. First of all, of course, we're uptrending, so higher lows here can be seen compared to the previous low back here, which is always a good sign. And this was actually a bit of a symmetrical triangle formation where we actually broke towards the upside, and that's a very bullish signal. So from here, just making sure that we remain above this uptrend line is really all we need to see. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.